Good morning. This is Judge Alyssa Perez presiding over the 210th District Court criminal docket for October 12th, 2021. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives. Regarding COVID-19, in addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Mr. Pantoja, would you please call our first case?
Yes, Judge. I was just putting some of these defendants back into the waiting room, Judge.
Sure, no worries. My computer has been restarting, and so I also need to open Odyssey if I can find it here. Odyssey Navigator.
Okay, Judge. Page 1, Celaya.
Okay.
Cause number 2020-0D03679. State of Texas versus Victoria Alejandra Celaya. Announcement of counsel, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas. Ready, Your Honor.
And good morning, Judge. Bill Hicks for Ms. Celaya.
Good morning. We're scheduled for a final hearing plea deadline. Is Ms. Celaya here? I have a notation she was supposed to appear today.
I don't have her in the waiting room nor in the actual meeting, Judge.
Okay, go ahead, Judge, or Mr. Herrera, final hearing plea deadline. What's the rec?
Judge, so this one, we had lost contact, both PR and Judge Hicks had lost contact with the defendant. But so it's been a while since I think we've heard back from her.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just a drug class for a dismissal, Your Honor.
Judge, do we have that?
The state was also asking that I send them the non-prosecution statement, but I had Jose down to send that to. Do you know if Jose got that? I had a note from my secretary to send that to you, and then.
Let me see if we got it on the AFV. And then, Judge, I think there is an outstanding case. So I don't know if Jose got it, but there was a note here back from September that it was going to be sent. So if you sent, I assume he got it, Mr. Hicks.
I'm sorry. Maybe I haven't had enough coffee. Who's Jose?
Oh, it's the misdemeanor prosecutor, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
She's got an AFV that we were requesting the non-pros on.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And then I just got a text that Victoria is on the video call, but her attendance has not been acknowledged. So I don't know if she's where she is or how she is, but she's notifying my office that she's on the Zoom, but hasn't been acknowledged. So I don't know what that means. Judge, she contacted our office and has the NCTI class that she was asked to take doesn't. The next enrollment is like next week, and so she's signed up to take the next NCIT class, but it's like next week. And so that, and she's asked for 2 clean UAs, but 2 weeks apart from each other. So she hasn't finished doing that either. So we do have contact with her. Obviously, she's contacting my office right now. So that's where we stand.
Okay, so I'm not sure. I have. She's not on PR. Okay, that was my next question. I was looking for a PR report and didn't see that. I'll give her maybe not quite 30 days. We're going to reset the final hearing plea deadline for November 9th with the jury trial set for the 12th. I mean, I think this has been outstanding since about July. So in terms of the UAs, I don't know what the holdup is there.
We did lose contact with her for a while. Regain that contact just okay. I don't know, September, early September.
We'll come back on November 9th, Judge. We'll see you then.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Take care. Who's next, Shui?
Hey, Judge Bustillos, page 1.
Okay, go ahead.
Cause number 2017-0D01338, State of Texas versus Jose Bustillos Jr. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
And Daniel Avelar for Jose Bustillos. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Final hearing plea deadline as well, Mr. Herrera.
Your Honor, so Mr. Avelar's office submitted proof that the restitution was mailed out to the complaining witness. So in lieu of, or so once we verify that it's been received, I mean, I'm sure it'll get there in a couple of days. We can dismiss the charge, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, I was looking at some notes. When was it mailed out?
Monday, Denny?
Yeah, before you continue, I stopped that mailing because of the amount of the restitution. I wanted to hand deliver it. So we went over yesterday to Yarborough.
Oh.
The manager wasn't there. And I didn't want to hand it to anybody else. So I could do one of two things, or whatever you want to do. What I was thinking is send it certified mail, return receipt requested, and then whoever gets it, they get it. Or keep going maybe once a week or something like that. Or call ahead to see if there's a manager there and physically hand it to them. I just don't feel comfortable mailing it regular in that amount. It's quite a bit.
Okay, so if hand delivery is, that sounds to me to be the best option. I believe you can get that accomplished between now and Thursday. So we're gonna come back on Thursday at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Mr.
Okay.
Avelar, I agree and I understand your concerns, but let's just get it done.
And Judge, and we did try that, but I didn't want to leave it to just a part-timer there who's just there for a
I
few
hear you.
bucks.
I hear you. We'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you.
And I'll reach out, Danny, and make sure somebody will be there to receive it, okay?
You know what? That would be great if you can help us out with that.
Yeah.
That's even
Yeah.
better.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thanks, y'all.
All right,
Appreciate you.
who's next, Chewy?
Okay, Judge Chavez, page 1.
Okay.
Cause number 2021-0D01775. Cause number 2021-0D01743. Cause number 2019-0D04604. State of Texas versus Julio Cesar Chavez. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
Derek Knapp on behalf of Mr. Chavez, Judge, ready to proceed.
Julia Martin, Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Chavez as well.
And so I want to be clear, my docket reflects that Ms. Martin is on cause numbers ending 1775, well, the two 2021 cause numbers. Mr. Quinata, you are on the 2019 cause number, all of which are set for trial this Friday. So, Mr. Herrera, have you given them the most recent right?
Yes, Judge. So the current recommendation is 5 TDC for all three cases, Your Honor. So at this point, defense counsel has relayed to me that he's not willing to accept that recommendation.
Both of them? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I'm a little confused why we still have this split representation. Mr. Quinata, were you appointed or retained?
Your Honor, I was retained, and I believe I was in the process of subbing out, and then we got sat down for a little bit. So if I could get that back to the court, we'll go ahead and proceed. On
What, you mean you were going to sub it into the public defender cases?
That's correct, Judge.
Okay, and Ms. Martin, if I'm not mistaken, I thought I saw some pretrial motions, like real pretrial, like motions in limine, things like that, because we do have panels on Friday for these cases. So are you ready to go to trial as well?
Yes, Your Honor, we're ready to go to trial. I did get the final recommendation from Mr. Herrera about maybe perhaps just pleading to the manufacturing and delivery, and he went to ask Mr. Flores, supervisor, about it, and he said, no, we need him to plead on everything, 5 TDC.
Okay.
And that's basically what's going on. I did, because it was so late when I got the offer, I did go on Sunday to speak to my client, and he was going to talk to his family when they visited him. Okay. But I mean, that's a pretty harsh recommendation, in my opinion, Your Honor, for someone that's probation eligible.
Okay. Well, Mr. Herrera, we're set on Friday. So I have two panels, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. I mean, technically, the oldest case is Mr. Quinata's. So what do you have, Mr. Quinata? I mean, have you talked to your client? The reason I ask is simply because for everyone, panels are hard to come by and your client is in custody. And so we're going on Friday. So I need to know quickly. I think based on what I reviewed for Friday's docket, I think, well, actually, Mr. Quinata, you might have another one that might be number one over this case, but this one for sure is top 2 or 3. So what's outstanding, Mr. Quinata, if anything?
Well, in regards to the case that I believe I'm on record for, I don't believe we have any pretrial. I believe it's the AFV, correct? Is that correct?
It's 3 counts, an AFV, impeding, continuous, and then ag assault, deadly weapon.
Yeah, we're ready for that one.
Okay. So let me ask, in terms of the older case, are you all requesting both panels? Do you all need both panels?
Well, how many are on each panel, Judge?
There are 57. We can get up to 57 per panel. I can't guarantee you we'll have 57 on Friday per panel, depending on attendance. You know, but we can fit 57 if we have bodies on per panel. So that would be 114 if we were lucky enough to fill both panels.
Well, I don't believe we would need both panels. What are your thoughts, Mr. Herrera?
I think just the fact that there's no guarantee we will fill up the first one, it might be more prudent to have both.
So we're going to have both. So what I'm telling you with that basically is our afternoon panel is kind of going to be our fail safe in the event that we can't get a jury out of the first one. Okay. So I tell you that so you can be prepared. Bring a sandwich, bring whatever you need to bring, because it might be, if things go on long, that we have very little time to transition to the second panel. Okay. So with that said, I'm not Miss Martin. I think, I don't want to over assume things, but I think this will get you off the hook for Friday, in the sense that I think we've got enough cases going, but I don't know, maybe I shouldn't even say that. In any event, Mr. Quinata's case is going to go first. You all have the same client. So Sandy, if you will put a backup date for Mr. Chavez, so we can do the remaining cases. We had a couple of dates that we secured for, I believe, Mr. Hernandez on Mr. Torres. So I think it was January 14th. Let me get my calendar. Let me look at my calendar.
It was.
Yes,
you have January the 14th.
Okay. So, and we have 2 panels that day, correct, Chuy?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, so the backup date for your cases, Ms. Martin, will be January 14th. He's in custody, so we'll get him a quick.
Thank you, Your Honor. Hopefully we'll be back opening up in January and we won't have to do all this stuff. Okay.
Let me just ask, I don't want to actually set you for Thursday because we are going to be, everybody's going to be really busy this week. And so would you please get back to the court by Thursday if the circumstances change? In other words, if there's a different rec, if your client decides he's going to take 5 or 4 or whatever is going to happen, please let us know by Thursday. I need to know like Thursday morning. So let's go ahead and set them. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and set them, Sandy.
Yes,
We're going to set you off for 10 o'clock. If you report via email that nothing has changed by 10 o'clock, that'll be enough for me. Okay.
Your Honor, thank you.
Sounds good,
Appreciate
Judge.
it. Okay.
Mr.
Thank you very
Chavez?
much. I'm sorry, Mr. D?
Mr. Quinata, standby.
Oh, okay. All righty. So that's Mr. Chavez trial. Okay. Go ahead, Chuy. Who's next?
Okay, Judge, Reed, page 6.
Okay,
Cause number 2019-0D03146, State of Texas versus Marina and Reed. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
Chair Kenneth, on behalf of Ms. Reed, Your Honor, ready to proceed.
okay, final hearing plea deadline on the, and a status conference. What's going on with Ms. Reed?
I'm going to be asking for continuance, Judge. Apparently, she has extended family members that are going to be submitting stuff as well. We're just trying to put our best foot forward, Judge.
And Your Honor, the state would not be opposed to that motion, just because we are still willing to see that character packet. However, I guess there was some miscommunication on my part as well, that I thought I misunderstood from last week that we were setting this for December. So we at this point, I mean, obviously she's been in custody a long time, but we, the state at this point would not be ready, Your Honor. So we would not oppose that motion to continue.
So did you file a motion, Mr. Ginata?
I haven't, Judge. I haven't.
Okay, well, until I get a motion, not gonna rule on that. I have us down again. We're specially set for Friday, 2 panels. Just put it in your motion and we'll see you on Thursday morning as well.
Very well, Judge.
Alrighty, who's next, Chewy?
Hey, Judge, Crawford on page 2.
Okay, go ahead.
Cause number 2020-0D05715, State of Texas versus Jared Ellen Crawford. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
Robert Perez for Mr. Crawford, Your Honor.
Okay, final hearing plea deadline, Mr. Herrera.
Yes, Your Honor. So in this is one where there's a DWI, misdemeanor DWI pending. So Mr. Perez, I don't know if you all had agreed to anything on the DWI, but I sent out plea papers for the 5 deferred on our case.
And I have those papers, and like I say, we're ready to accept that. I don't represent him on the DWI.
Oh, okay, all right.
Victor Serrano represents him.
I understand. Okay.
And so I reached out to him and told him that we're waiting on them. And so I'm hoping for them to resolve their stuff so we can just move forward.
Okay.
So
And
there,
go ahead, Your Honor. I apologize.
no, I'm just looking at chats coming in. It says that the misdemeanor is waiting on us. I'm not really sure. I don't know that we've had Mr. Serrano in here. What's the holdup? Do you have any notes, Mr. Herrera?
Well, and there might just be some miscommunication there, but I mean, it's pretty clear that as per the plea agreement, he needs to plead to both. And at
Okay,
this
so
point,
everybody, I think that's where we've been. I seem to remember this one, Mr. Perez. I mean, between you and Mr. Serrano, I mean, you all need to get your client on the same page. I will reset this for November 9th. A misdemeanor is set for November 8th, the final
Okay.
hearing plea deadline. This shouldn't be, it's not rocket science. He's either gonna try that DWI or he's not, and we can move forward. I'm not sure what the holdup is.
I'll get with Mr. Serrano, Your Honor, just to make sure so
Thank
we
you.
can move forward.
All right, November 9th, we'll see you then. Thank
Your
you.
Honor.
Who's next, Chewy?
Okay, Judge Diaz, page 2.
Okay, go ahead.
Cause number 2015-0D03448, State of Texas versus Yeriana Diaz. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
Julio Martin on behalf of Ms. Diaz, Your Honor, ready to proceed.
Is that her with the LG phone?
Yes, Judge, that is Ms. Diaz.
Okay, in which case I think Mr. Cifuentes is here on this case. So if we can get her set up.
You're frozen.
Yeah, it's frozen. We'll see if it comes back online. I'm not sure if her being here was because we had missed her or we had some other issue, but if we could go ahead and get started. Mr. Herrera, what's your rec?
Judge, so at this point, we were just waiting to see proof from the IRS that the restitution was already paid back, so that we could go ahead and submit a dismissal in this case. So I think that's just what we're waiting on, Judge.
I think I've heard that before. What's the holdup, Ms. Martin?
Your Honor, we can't get a hold of it. You know, we've been trying and contacting the IRS. I've even had investigator work on it. You know, basically, I'm going to speak to Mrs. Diaz about if she can get the information, because she referred us to her tax preparer, and the tax preparer tried, and then our investigator just reported back to me on Friday that maybe what we need to do is have her directly contact the IRS, because we're not able to get it. I don't know why the tax preparer can't get it, but for whatever reason, you know, my office has failed to find that information, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm not going to, I'm just going to reset for our next trial setting, which is April 29th.
Okay.
So
Your
we'll
Honor.
have a new slate of settings. If you'll, Mr. Cifuentes, is that the only case that he's here for?
Yes, Judge, that is correct. No one else has requested an interpreter.
Then I'll go ahead and leave that for you to discuss with your client, Ms. Martin, and then we'll just come back at the next setting to get it.
Yes, Your Honor, and if Mr. Herrera could get a recommendation over to me, we would appreciate it.
Oh, there you go. Mr.
Yeah,
Herrera.
you know, in case we can't get the,
Sure.
okay, thank you.
Yes, we can.
We'll see
Thank
you
you.
next time. Thank you. Ms. Diaz, se puede desconectar. Habla con su abogada. Thank you, Mr. Cifuentes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All righty. Who's next, Tree?
Okay, Judge Celaya, page 1.
Okay. Did,
Dewey, you can remove her. There you go.
so Ms. Celaya was reset for November 9th, you know?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Hicks is still on, Judge. I wasn't sure if it was going back before you or not.
No. Ms. Celaya, you need to get in touch with your attorney.
I was texting my attorney's
I understand.
assistant.
I understand. He let us know that you were trying to check in, so we have you now. But
Mhm.
we've already passed your case. Your case is set for November 9th. You can talk
Yes,
to your
ma'am.
attorney about what else happened, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Alrighty.
you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Who's
Thank
next?
you, Judge. Bye-bye.
Okay, Judge Flores, page 3.
Okay, go ahead.
Cause number 2020-020-2421. Cause number 2020-020-1557. Cause number 2021-020-2221. And cause number 2021-020-1294. State of Texas versus Jose Manuel Flores. Announcement, council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
Matthew Pospisil for Jose Flores, present, ready, Your Honor.
And Joseph Vasquez representing Mr. Flores and President ready, Judge.
Okay, so we are set for final hearing plea deadlines on all of these. Mr. Herrera?
Your Honor, so this is going to be a plea. I just sent plea papers to Mr. Pospisil on Friday. And I think in part of that plea agreement, Mr. Vasquez is going to be off the hook.
Okay, so I'm going to reset you all for 2 weeks, anticipating we will receive plea papers. If they're completed sooner than that, of course, forward them to Mr. Pantoja and we'll get you scheduled if we can get you scheduled sooner, okay? Thank you, gentlemen.
We have actually
Your Honor.
submitted the plea paperwork as of yesterday, Judge.
I'm sorry?
We have emailed in the plea paperwork as of yesterday. as
Oh,
well.
great, okay. So I will look for those and we'll get you set. Like I said, we'll still have that date just to make sure nothing falls through the cracks.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank y'all.
Appreciate you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who's
Thank
next?
you.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
stand by, please. Okay, Judge Neria, page 4.
Go ahead.
Cause number 2019-020-3277. State of Texas versus Jacob Neria. Announcement to council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
And Joseph Vasquez representing Mr. Neria, and we're ready, Your Honor.
So I did receive Mr. Vasquez's motion for continuance. I assume, but I don't want to assume, Mr. Herrera, that you're not opposed to that motion because of the outstanding case?
Exactly, Your Honor. We're waiting for that DWI, and we've requested hopefully that those labs be sent back
Okay.
sooner rather than later.
So we are going to reset, the motion for continuance is granted, and we are going to reset this for April 29th. That gives you a little bit of a window. Well, I'm not going to ask anything else. That's good to go. We'll see you in April.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
May I be
you.
excused?
Yes, sir. Who's next, Chewy?
If you're talking, you're muted, sir.
Hold back on page 4, Judge.
Okay, go ahead.
Cause number 2020-020-5499, State of Texas versus Robin Holbeck. Announcement of counsel, please.
Brian Herrera for the State of Texas. Ready, Your Honor.
Good morning, Attorney Rafael Morales on behalf of Ms. Holbeck, Judge.
Final hearing plea deadline. Is it you, Mr. Herrera, or Mr. Cox? Who's
I think
the-
this one's Mr. Cox, Judge.
Okay, did we have a resolution or an rec?
I think we're close, Judge, in that I've been promised some medical records. I'm reading some information right now. I've been promised some medical records from a Project Vita here in town and from another provider as well. And if they're promising us those this week, if I can get those to Mr. Cox sooner rather than later, as soon as we get them, we'll forward them to Mr. Cox. And I think we might be done. This one's right at the end of the tunnel, Judge.
Mr. Cox, had we had a rec up until this point? I don't recall.
Which case is this one you're on?
Callback, it's an animal case. I think that's why you handled.
Let me look.
And Your Honor, I do have it pulled up right now. So the previous recommendation was 5 straight probation. However, that was pooled pending the mental health stuff that they were the medical records that we're going to be receiving.
Yeah, Your Honor, I haven't put a new recommendation in on this case. I think from what I see in the case file that mental health issues played a significant part in the events.
Is this, I'm sorry, Mr. Cox, Mr. Morales, is this our client that is out of town? I don't want to say Florida or.
Judge, she is on the East Coast. I believe it's North Carolina. She was active duty United States Army here. She's a commissioned officer, and she is since separated from the husband and from the military as well. But the military thing is still ongoing. And I think that's what might have created some of the difficulty in getting some of the records, that they didn't like our releases. So
I guess my only question is, as long as no one is objecting to it, I want to reset you down the road, April 29th. That should give us enough of a window to go through any additional information you have to give to the state and figure out what we're doing. Okay. But I mean, she doesn't have any issues with the case still being pending. I know she's not in custody.
no, Judge, it's not an issue.
All right. So we'll be reset to April 29th.
Thank you so much, Curtis. Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Who's
Everyone have a
next,
good day.
Chewy? You too, Taylor. Who's next, Chewy?
Hey, Judge Natividad, page 4.
Okay.
Cause number 2020-020-0646, State of Texas versus Dorian Desiree Natividad. Announcement of counsel, please.
Brian Herrera for the State of Texas. Ready, Your Honor.
Brent Stevens for Miss Natividad.
And we're here on a final hearing plea deadline. What's the rec?
Your Honor, so this, we had an agreement in place for probation. However, Mr. Stevens, and at the request of the state, was getting Ms. Natividad screened for the DWI court caseload. So if she's accepted into that, then we might consider having her plead to a misdemeanor, which is what Mr. Stevens and the defendant were requesting.
Is this there are no priors, no prior DWIs, I guess?
This is a first time DWI judge. She does have other priors, but we had Mr. Herrera and I had an agreement for a Class A DWI, but that was nixed. So in follow-up negotiations, it was requested that we apply for DWI court, and we are doing that.
So I guess what is the, I'm always open to treatment, but is she someone that we've identified, has exhibited prior behavior or behavior in this case that would warrant I guess, utilizing so many resources. I mean, DWI court is pretty intensive. And if this were a subsequent, you know, I can kind of see that. But if we're, I mean, did she have, you know, I mean, what's going on with her that we think that she needs to have such intense supervision?
Her history is basically a family that is disorganized with mothers, brothers, sisters, and there's been ongoing problems within the family, and she's been arrested several times because of that. So there's never been a DWI before. So I thought a Class A DWI would be a good outcome for her, but so we're basically still negotiating, but I think it'll be resolved.
So I have any concerns, Mr. Herrera, on was there an accident? I know there's an
Well, there was a child in the vehicle, Your Honor, and I mean, she may or may not have been restrained. I mean, I understand that the defendant says that the child was properly restrained, but she did receive an injury. So that's like the most aggravating factor in this case. I mean,
and just as a background to follow up on that, she did have an injury. We can't explain it, but she had a laceration on her forehead that needed some stitches, but she's doing fine. The child still lives with her mother, and my client's going to school. She's trying to better herself. So she's really doing things with her life, trying to get her life turned around. I just don't see a felony conviction as being anything that will help her. She's currently in the Pima Medical Institute. She's supposed to graduate in February. And I think just a felony conviction is really going to set her back. It's not going to help her daughter any, that's for sure.
Okay. So are you asking for a continuance, Mr. Stevens?
I think it would be wise, because if we go to trial, I mean, I'm not saying the state doesn't have a case they can't win, but I'm still negotiating with them. I think that we're going to come to a conclusion that will be good for everybody.
Okay, so if that's what you're asking for, basically is more time, if you would please file your motion for continuance. I'm good with seeing what we can work out. I've got a good report from PR Bond, so she's compliant on the monitor. We'll reset this one for April 29th and see where we are. I guess I just, you know, not trying to interfere with what you all are doing. I just want to make sure that, you know, we're really utilizing those treatment court resources for folks who actually need it. And maybe there's something that you're seeing, Mr. Herrera, that warrants that. I don't know if it's just like a trade-off for the misdemeanor, but, you know, if it's an issue of maybe needing some life skills, maybe there are alternatives that are not DWI court, because that, if I'm hearing really that she has an issue with alcohol and needs DWI court, so be it, but I'm not sure I'm hearing that. So we're just going to reset her for April 29th. Sandy, if you would please, on whatever the next setting is, Ms. Natividad will have to appear, and I do want another PR report. It appears she's doing fine. I just want to make sure we're not off track, especially with the holidays and whatnot.
And I'll file the motion, Your Honor.
Thank you. If you'll email it to us, I can get it taken care of quickly. Okay, thank you, Mr. Herrera. Appreciate it. Who's next, Chewy?
Okay, Judge Pesina, page 5.
Okay.
It's cause number 2020-0D02447, State of Texas versus Arthur Pesina. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
Dennis Moore for Arthur Pesina, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Is this our out-of-state person?
Yes, correct. And I believe he managed to check in on Friday.
All right. Well, good.
Which is good. I told him Monday, but then I found out it was a holiday, and of course I had to get a hold of him, and he got on and checked in on Friday. And we have a deal. We're just trying to get the paperwork in. And once I get the paperwork into the court and the waiver of arraignment, we haven't forgotten about that, then we can get a police setting and then cross our fingers that he can come up with the money for a bus ticket to get down here.
So wait a minute, initially, okay, so initially I was thinking 2 weeks, but if he's traveling, we may need a little more than that. Yeah.
Yes, I'm hoping that once I get the paperwork in, I can ask for maybe 4 weeks so that he can, really plan it. He has to get permission with from his probation officer there. I think he should be able to do that. I think he's in compliance and in good terms with them over there now, so.
Okay, we're going to reset the final hearing plea deadline to November 16th. That will be crossing our fingers that everything works in our favor and we will really have a plea setting either on that date or before that. Okay.
Okay, yes, Judge.
And we'll work with you on that, Mr. Moore. I know we normally do them on Tuesdays, but if for some reason you need to do it on a different day, let us know. We can probably fit you in on a Monday, maybe in person, or we can look at whose time we can borrow at the police center. But if travel can sometimes be hard. So anyways, all right. So we'll see you on the 16th. Who's next? Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye. You
Hey,
too.
Judge Stevenson, page 6. Cause number 2020-0D04863, State of Texas versus Robert Luis Ogilvy Stevenson. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
Charles Roberts for the defense. We're ready.
And so we're at the final hearing plea deadline. We were here back on, I think, September 28th, unless that one was continued. Your client is in custody. What's the rec, Mr. Herrera?
Your Honor, it is 10 years deferred adjudication. I just sent Mr. Roberts plea papers this morning. The holdup was the restitution, Your Honor, but obviously Mr. Roberts was appointed, and I don't think we're going to be able to come up with that restitution. So we have an agreement. We're just waiting on
Mr. Roberts, how quickly can we turn those around? Can I bring you back in 2 weeks, hoping we already have our
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll reset for 2 weeks, final hearing plea deadline. Thank you so much for your help on that. And thanks for letting the court know about your scheduling, Mr. Roberts. Appreciate it. Who's next, Chewy?
Your Honor, real quick, I'm so sorry. On Mr. Stevenson, did you want that at a jail time slot?
I think that would be, yeah, we should probably do it then because then if we need to, we can use it for the plea if we don't get the plea papers sooner.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Who's next, Chewy?
Okay, Judge Vega, page 7.
Okay.
It's cause number 2020-0D04862, cause number 2021-0D00114, State of Texas versus Abraham Vega. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
We lost the other Herrera. We was here the whole time and I see his Judge Herrera, are you there? He was there. We can come back to his.
Okay, Judge Trujillo, page 7.
Go ahead.
It's cause number 2020-0D04194, State of Texas versus Mary Elise Trujillo. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
Maria Martin on behalf of Mr. Trujillo, ready, Your Honor.
Okay, what's the rec, Mr. Herrera?
Your Honor, it's 8 years deferred adjudication. We have an agreement in place, although the defendant is out of town, so we might need a little bit more time to get her signed up. I still need to send Ms. Martin plea papers, but I should get those out to her ASAP, hopefully later today.
Okay, Ms. Martin, are you?
Yes, that is our agreement, Your Honor. I did email, I don't think she doesn't live in town, but she lives in Texas. She lives in Perez, Texas, of all places. And so she's going to need to have her probation transferred over there because her concern is, am I going to have to stay in El Paso after I plead or what's going on? She has no family here. So, and that's going to be difficult.
Okay. So you tell me, Ms. Martin, I can put you either for the 9th or the 16th. What works best for you?
Let me look at this. Let me have the 16th, Your Honor.
Okay. Reset for November 16th, again, anticipating a plea. again, it doesn't have to be for my purposes, Ms. Martin, on that date. It's just going to be when I check in with you. So if we don't have it done. So if you need us to work with you on a date, just let us know, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, who's next, Shui?
Okay, Judge Ramsey, page 8.
Okay, go ahead.
Cause number 2020-0D04156, State of Texas versus Sylvia Cecilia Ramsey. Announcement from the council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
Ruben Nunez for the defendant. We're ready as well, Judge.
Okay, give me 1 second because I know we have a lengthy report. Let me see. She's in custody. Okay. Probation status hearing. Oh, here it is. Ms. Pineda, do you have an update?
Good morning, Judge. I just heard you say she's in custody, so I just found that out right now. But besides that, Judge, there was really nothing that had happened since the last hearing we had, which was last, I believe it was on the 5th. I did email you some information that the probation officer received, again, from the complaining witness. I understand a lot of the paperwork that was submitted and that I submitted to you was prior to probation. But there is something current as far as the protective order that was filed. But I'm trying to check when she went into custody, Judge.
This morning.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to print this out. Is this a protective order? It was upside down, so, and I can't turn it around, my Adobe version, so let me just print it. Okay, so probation status, she's in custody. I mean, Judge, did you have anything for us today other than?
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, I'm sorry?
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
So I think we all remember what happened at the last hearing. The court was rather upset at Mrs. Ramsey having left El Paso County without permission. Mrs. Ramsey tried to explain, but I think at that time, it was better for her to be quiet than for her to try to offer explanations. This morning, late last night, she sent me some documents that I sent to Mr. Herrera and to your court coordinator and to your bailiff judge. And basically what it was an obituary for her father-in-law who passed away on September 27th from COVID. It was a letter from a doctor confirming that Mrs. Ramsey was at the hospital and that because of her father-in-law's medical condition, they were allowed to have the family by his bedside. The only thing is that the doctor's letter is dated September 20th. I think that's probably a typo. It should have been September 30th. We also sent a couple of pictures where she was blowing into the lifesaver and it was passed on at least 2 times. And then there was a screenshot that was sent by her to Mr. Ortega, I think the complaining witness on the assault that was dismissed, where she's asking in a very polite manner if she can see her son. I'm not sure when this other gentleman filed an application for a protective order, but as far as the communication that my client was trying to have with him with respect to her son was very cordial. Now, I know that Mrs. Ramsey left El Paso County without permission, but I think given the circumstances, Judge, her father-in-law was very ill. He did pass away on a Monday. I think that's the 27th. And she left, if my memory serves me correctly, she left the Friday before on the 24th and then returned immediately after this man passed away. And so given those circumstances, Judge, I think the court, considering what is going on in this nation and how many people have died from COVID,
I think this court should give Mrs. Ramsey the benefit of the doubt. And I would ask the court to perhaps do a 10-day jail commitment and then release her back to probation.
So I'm, part of the issue and why I don't want to say it was zero tolerance last time, because I don't know also to what extent, Judge, because you came in after another attorney, is the history of non-compliance. Ms. Ramsey, for whatever reason, I mean, I'm not unsympathetic to family issues, family emergencies, things like that, but she has never been compliant with any condition, not PR condition, and so, I didn't want to be so pessimistic when she pled, but it was not a surprise to me to then quickly have a report on her. And that's why the court was of the opinion that we needed to act swiftly with her. What I fail to understand right now is, I guess, a full picture. I don't think the solution here is incarceration unless I am unable to identify what her problem is. What is it? Is it life skills? Does she need more stringent supervision? Is she somebody that maybe needs to go to DWI court for whatever other treatment or life skills training? I don't know. I don't have a good idea yet, because the only thing I've seen from Miss Ramsey is disregard for conditions, whether they're PR or probation. And so I don't have a full picture there. I'm just now receiving your email, Judge. I know I had received some information from probation. I need to look at this. I mean, I don't doubt her father-in-law, she was going and it was an emergency, but there's also been some issues with the monitor. I mean, there's a lot of things here, and I don't feel like I have a good idea. I also don't think, a 10, 20-day jail stint is going to solve the problem. Lo and behold, she'll do that time, and then she'll come out and she's still not going to follow rules. I mean, we've been here before. So do we have a follow-up setting, Ms. Aguirre?
We do not, Judge.
Okay. We're going to come back in 2 weeks. Mr. Judge Nunez, if you need a bond hearing or anything you want to have before then, let me know. But I need basically more information on how we can get her on track. Ms. Pineda, does probation have any tools, something that we can either screen her for, identify classes? I'm not really sure what. Can we look into resources that might help Ms. Ramsey be successful?
Judge, does the court have the ability and the resources and the individuals to do a psychological evaluation? Because I think that's probably the only way we're going to be able to identify whatever needs she may have.
There hasn't been one. Judge, if you think that's something that's useful here, file some type of motion that's requesting it. If I can order it, we'll do it.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll do it. I'm not seeing anything. Again, this is one. Oh no, this is the wrong. She was a transfer from the 346, and I think we got her at the beginning of the year, but it's been a very bumpy ride. So yes, I think your suggestion is good. Go ahead and file it, and we'll see what we can get started on that.
Will do, ma'am.
Judge, may I say something real quick? Sorry. Mr. Nunez, just as a reminder, if and when you file that motion, just to go ahead and send it to the judge and I, but also if and when granted, it's likely that we'll transfer to the 384th. So you would have to pursue bond matters over there in the event that we can't get it done sooner, sir.
But this is not a competency as much as a psychological evaluation.
Right. But I know that at least for us, the courts, that's how we would get them evaluated.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Sandy, I'm sorry. There's what is this notation on Jorge Herrera? Is that regarding Ms. Ramsey?
Yes, ma'am.
No. So we need to make sure Judge Nunez is still her.
Yes, ma'am. I'll reappoint. That just happened this morning from COJ.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
All righty. Okay.
Thank you,
So
Judge.
2 weeks. Thank you, Judge. Who's next, Tree?
Okay, Judge. Judge Herrera's back, I believe, on Abraham Vega. Is that
Okay.
correct?
Let's do that one.
Yes, Judge. Cause number 2020-0D04862. Cause number 2021-0D00114. State of Texas versus Abraham Vega. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor. Josh Herrera on behalf of Abraham Vega.
We're set for a final hearing plea deadline. Mr. Brian Herrera, what's the rec?
Judge, so the defense countered with 3 and the state's gonna accept that. So I think we have a tentative agreement in place for 3 TDC for Mr. Vega.
All right, I'm gonna reset you all. He's in custody. You know, he's only in, at least the docket is reflecting that he's only in custody on the 114 case. I don't show that he's booked on 4862, just FYI.
He
might
got
wanna
out.
just-
Yeah, he got out, Judge, on that
Oh.
one
Uh-huh.
before he picked up the 114. So I don't know. I'm guessing that's what happened there.
Okay, just letting you know, I'm gonna reset you all for 2 weeks, final hearing plea deadline, anticipating that will be at the 3 o'clock slot, and that's anticipating we will already have our plea paperwork squared away so we can just do the plea.
Yes, Judge, and I'll get those plea papers out right away.
Sounds good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Your Honor, can you repeat that date? I'm sorry.
2 weeks, let's see, the 12th. So we're coming back on the 25th. Is that okay?
Perfect. Yes,
Okay.
thank you, Your Honor.
We'll see you then, 3 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Aguirre. Thank you, Chuy. Thank you, Brian. Have a good
Yes,
day.
sir. Take care.
Bye, Judge.
Sick. Who's next, Chuy?
You're muted, Chewy.
Bautista on page 8.
Go ahead.
Cause number 2020-0D00002. State of Texas versus Gilbert Bautista. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
Todd Dunham for Mr. Gilbert Bautista. I'm ready, Your Honor.
Oh, wow. Okay, sorry. Give me 1 second. And Mr. Bautista is appearing remotely. Let me get the case summary. Okay, so we're at pending, Ms. Pineda, I'm reading the summary. We were pending proof of employment, something with respect to his, this is the one where he was working out of town, right?
Yes, Your
Yes,
Honor,
ma'am.
that is correct. We were following up from 2 weeks ago. He was supposed to get with his probation officer and provide proof of employment, proof of income and all. That was what was requested, but as of Friday, he hadn't provided anything to his officer.
Mr. Dunham, do you have any of that information? Has he provided it to you?
No, ma'am. And yeah, my understanding was he was going to provide it to me and I'd give it to the court. But in either case, I spoke with him last week. He was getting the laptop with any possible business information on it from Odessa.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to reach him this morning to see what's going on with that, and I wasn't able to reach him. He's on now. But so he's self-employed, it's his own business, and I am assuming since it's a car wash that it's mostly handled in cash. I did recommend that if he has regular customers, maybe they could write a statement that they go to this car wash and use his services or something to that effect. So we're trying to figure out a way that we can, prove up that he runs this car wash.
Right, and not having that, then I think that was, Ms. Pineda, he's somebody that took off on us and now he's saying he's working over there. So he was able to come back, blah, 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 but we don't have any proof of anything to show that he is. The reason I asked for that, Mr. Dunham, and so your client is aware, I don't know if he's still on here. I don't see him anymore. But the reason I had asked that, because it was obviously if the court was going to be willing to work with him on that issue, I need to make sure that he's actually working and doing something.
Yes, ma'am.
Back on. At this point, he has not been allowed to leave El Paso County, so he needs to remain, but he's going to do a 15-day jail commitment. So I need the order committing Mr. Dunham. If you will get in touch with Mr. Pantoja about having him turn himself in.
Yes, ma'am.
That is consistent with the recommendation from probation. They're recommending 12 days. I just don't think he's taking this seriously, Mr. Dunham. And to be quite honest, Ms. Pineda, when he's done with his jail commitment, I'm trying to think, I mean, he's still not allowed to leave, so he's gonna need to figure something out. Just let him know that, Mr. Dunham.
Well, yes, Your Honor. And I do know that he has been trying to get the information. So, I mean, he is taking that seriously. It's just, it's not easy to prove your business when it's just got started and you're, you know, he doesn't have a Facebook page and stuff like that. So, but I do understand.
There's like, there's a truck with the business name on it, take a picture and send it. If there is, you know, a place where they're working, have somebody, like you said, somebody come in and say something, tell us he is working these hours, this is what he's doing. 0 is what we keep getting from Mr. Bautista. So what he's gonna do is gonna do a jail commitment. So I'll refer you, Mr. Bautista, to your attorney so you can get squared away. Thank you, Mr. Dunham.
Yes, Your Honor. Maybe
Sure. Do we have a future setting, Sandy?
Yes, ma'am, we do. We have scheduled a review hearing for January, ma'am.
Okay. Alrighty.
Do we wait till January, Judge, or would you like something after the jail?
Do we wait till January for what? No, I think they can make arrangements to take them in now. So if between Mr. Pantoja, if you will check, I mean, they can, I think the 171st has been doing those orders. He's going to start ASAP. He needs to turn himself in. So the process, we'll get that clarified for you, Mr. Dunham, but he's going to do 15 days.
Correct.
Your Honor, if before January, I'm able to get any kind of proof of a business in Odessa, would we be able to have a hearing so then he's allowed to leave El Paso?
Sure, you just need to make the request.
Yes,
request the hearing, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Who's next, Chuy?
Okay, Judge Hernandez, page 3.
Go ahead.
Cause number 2018-020-5116, State of Texas versus Sarah Hernandez. Announcement of counsel, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
Marcelo Rivera on behalf of Ms. Sarah Hernandez, Your Honor. Defense is ready as well.
Okay, we're here for a status conference. Give me 1 second. Let me pull that case up. Have you all made any headway? I believe, Mr. Rivera, were you going to touch base with Mr. Flores? Was that what we were doing on this one?
Yes, Your Honor. I spoke with Mr. Flores. Apparently, he was assigned this case this case briefly when he was with our office. And so he is precluded.
Okay.
He is precluded from making a rec, but he did tell me he was going to speak with Mr. Cox, and I don't know if he has or not.
Ooh, Mr. Cox happens to be here.
Yes, I know.
Let's see if he's here or he's just...
Didn't mean to put him on the spot.
No, I'm here. Which case are we talking about?
It's Sarah Hernandez.
I had emailed you before, Curtis.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have not made a decision on that one. I've got some more work to do on that. I think the family of the deceased are adamantly opposed to what the defense has proposed.
I'm sure they are, but should have been opposed to him doing what he did in the first place.
Well, that's a worthy topic of philosophical debate. In any case,
Mr. Rivera, if I'm not sure if there's going to be someone in your place, Mr. Cox, basically like instead of you, someone like Renee Flores who can actually do it, or if you're going to handle it. I don't know
this one, if it goes to trial, I anticipate I'll handle because it's a vehicular case, Your Honor.
Okay. So I don't know, Mr. Rivera, if you gave Mr. Cox in the state a full picture of all the issues that might now be going on in this case. In any event, if you will do that, we are set for the 28th of October, and then we have a jury trial in March. So, I mean, we have time, but you know, I think the last thing that we had here was this the one with the expert witness?
It was.
Okay, so just throwing that out there. That's all I'm saying.
I believe I have given Mr. Cox a summary, and Mr. Flores, I believe, gave him one as well. As like I said, he was familiar with the case, but he's precluded from making a rec. But I believe Mr. Cox is aware.
Okay.
Yeah, I've looked at the case in some detail.
Okay. All righty. And now I'm seeing a motion. I'm just looking at some entries, a motion for discovery or grand jury testimony.
Yes,
Is that
that's
right?
correct.
Okay. That's the only thing I see that has been filed recently. So we'll see you all. Mr. Rivera, if you need hearings on anything, or Mr. Cox, if you do, just let us know via email with pleading. Not, we'll just see you on the 28th and go with the regular schedule.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, gentlemen. Who's next,
Thank
Chief?
you, Mr. Cox. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Nelson, page 4.
Okay, go ahead.
Cause number 2021-020-2380. State of Texas versus Plevy Nelson. Announcement of council, please.
Your Honor, for the state, Curtis Cox.
Roland Nunez on behalf of Ms. Clevy Nelson.
Okay, and we are set for a status conference today. Let me see. We were pending, I guess you all were setting up information exchange, something regarding the vehicle or vehicles.
Your Honor, my understanding is they would like their expert to be able to go out and attempt a download off of the airbag control module on the vehicle driven by the co-defendants allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're in the process of arranging when that can be scheduled. We'll need information from them on when is a range of dates that would be convenient for their expert, and then we can schedule that with the impound yard.
Okay, Mr. Nunez.
Correct, Your Honor. We plan to send all that information over to Mr. Cox and to Mr. Herrera this week. Hopefully we can get in there next week. We're hoping to get it done by the end of the month, Your Honor, since we are set for trial in December.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Let me double check something. That's fine.
And I will note also, there appears to be a problem with the newly indicted cause number on the portal, and I'm having the portal guys try to sort that out. I could not access it under the new cause number this morning.
Okay, let me double check the calendar.
And Your Honor, I don't know if the court received the a copy of that motion to transfer.
I see it in the on Odyssey. I don't know if I know I didn't receive it, but are you talking the carryover? I saw 2 carryover motions.
Yes.
I didn't look at them. I just see the entries.
Okay. I'll make sure.
Yes.
Yeah, and Your Honor, that should be the standard motion to carry over that we do when we re-indict a case.
Sounds good. Let me make sure. One last detail, in terms of the jury panels for December 9th and 10th, we were informed that we only have, well, we have 3 panels. We don't have 4 panels. So we have Thursday afternoon and Friday morning and afternoon. So 172 if we have perfect attendance.
Okay.
I try and stay on top of the master calendar to look for cancellations and whatnot. But, and so I will be looking at that morning of the 9th in case CC1 doesn't use theirs. But as of right now, only 3 are secured. Okay. All righty. Okay, then I'll just check in with you all. Send it, whatever you have, Mr. Herrera, over. Anything
Yes,
else?
Your Honor.
Request a hearing. Thank you for your help. Mr. Nunez, anything else?
No, Judge, that's it. We'll get together with the state.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, gentlemen. Who's next, Chuy?
Hey, Judge, of the cases that need to go before you at the present time and be on the record, that is, I'm just waiting the arrival of some attorneys.
Okay, sounds good.
Actually, Chewy, there was one that Mr. Montes wanted to informally approach on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, and here's Mr., I think for Kevin Gomez, that is I can't think of his name. Mr. Mesa.
Yes, Judge.
On Kevin Gomez, is that for 3 o'clock?
That's for 3 o'clock, Your Honor.
Sorry, never mind.
No, I did have a precious walking eagle this morning, Judge. I don't know if that needs to go before you.
That's actually co-defendant to Mr. Montes, so maybe.
Okay. Well, let's get off of YouTube unless somebody needs to be on the record.
You got it.
Thanks.